happiness, yeah. Anyway, listen, this is a really weird story. The number of people in Britain who are bitten by dangerous tropical insects is on the up. It's because we import so much fruit from hot countries. And spiders and scorpions and venomous millipedes come along for the ride. And this week, the most poisonous spider on the planet turned up in Somerset and very nearly killed a man. It was a Brazilian wandering spider, had wandered a long way from home, and it bit a chef on the hand as he cleaned a pub's kitchen. Now, before he tells his terrifying story, here's an expert assessment of just how dangerous this particular species of spider really is.
These large and dangerous true spiders are found throughout South America. Brazilian wandering spiders are fast, extremely venomous, and can be very aggressive. When encountered, these spiders do not retreat. They raise their front legs towards the danger and will even turn around to constantly face the adversary. It holds the record for death by spider bites in recent years. 10 people have died from this venom in the past 2 decades.
Well, that was Jake Willis, presenter of the National Geographic Channel's Insects from Hell programme, and he's here with a very lucky and, I'm glad to say, more or less fully recovered Matthew Stevens. Although, show us your hand, it's still a little bit swollen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just lift it up a bit. Is it still sore?
No, not no more.
No.
What happened?
Well, come on, yeah, you're cleaning out the freezer in the pub kitchen.
Yeah, what it was, I was de-icing one of the Cornetto machines, and I poured boiling hot water around the side, and I went to pick up a cloth and wipe the other side of it. And as I was wiping it, something pinched my skin, and it just felt like a rose thorn going in my finger.
It felt like a what?
Felt like a rose thorn piercing my skin.
Right, so not like, oh my God, you know, what was that?
It was just like a short, sharp prick in my hand. And then I was basically shocked and thinking, what was it? And I shook the cloth over the freezer, and with that, the spider jumped out.
Big spider there.
Really?
Yeah, about the palm of your hand there.
About 4 or 5 inches across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I shook the cloth, it fell in the freezer, and I went to pick it up because I don't mind spiders at all. And then with that, he bit me on my other thumb, but he only pinched the skin, he didn't pierce it.
Yeah.
And then my friends came into the kitchen, which was a girl called Nikki, and she knew a fair bit about animals and stuff like that, and she said straight away she bathed my hand in boiling hot water, vinegar and salt. And she said that would counteract anything going into my bloodstream. So what she did, she bathed over the finger, and within a couple of minutes it sealed it again from stopping from bleeding. And then she spoke to her mum on the phone, and apparently she knows a lot about it, and she said it can't be British because she said the description of it and everything else. And she said take him down to the hospital and go from there and see what they say.
And you took a picture of it on your mobile, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you went down to the hospital. They sort of treated it for you. You showed them that. They didn't. The first hospital was actually able to establish what species it was from your phone. Your phone picture.
Because they sent it to a centre and they said, blimey, it's this this wandering spider from Brazil. They're very poisonous.
But they still sent you home.
Yeah, they did all observations on me, did my temperature, blood pressure and everything. Apparently it was all normal. So
you get home and you think, well, I've got away with it, and then it really kicked in, didn't it?
Yeah.
What happened?
I went back to work and see if I could manage on one hand, because they said try not to use that hand, otherwise it'll pump it in the bloodstream quicker. And I couldn't manage with one hand, so I left about 8:30, 9 o'clock that evening, and with about 10 minutes of being home, I practically got paralysed on my right side, and my hand was like a balloon.
And you collapsed?
Yeah.
And you said obviously the poison had reached your heart at that point, because you say that your heart started to beat so hard, you kind of, although you knew this wouldn't happen, you thought it was going to come out of your chest.
Yeah, it's like when you have a real bad asthma attack, when your chest goes really, really tight.
Yeah.
But I haven't had asthma for years now, I've grown out of that, but it was that sort of feeling, but it would not release.
Okay, so you went back, not to the first hospital, but to a second hospital.
Yeah.
And they put you on a saline drip, didn't they?
Yeah.
To swab it out.
a couple of them.
Yeah, and to cut a long story short, you're all right now, but
Yeah.
it could have been a close call. You were just saying,
It was a close
Jake,
call.
Yeah, you were saying, Jake, that there's no doubt that this particular spider is one of the most deadly and ferocious spiders on the planet.
Absolutely, yeah. Their venom is more toxic or more venomous than the black widow, which most people believe to be one of the deadliest spiders. When we talk about deadly, they're really only deadly to about 10% of the population, probably very elderly people. People of Matthew's age here, 23, probably the best age in good health to try and to survive a venomous bite like that. The problem with the spider, as we've just seen, the Brazilian wandering spider, is that not only is it highly aggressive, as you can see, where it's actually attacking the prongs there on insects from hell, but they actually bite repeatedly. Yeah. So if you've been bitten, as Matthew was, they'll keep coming back and they'll keep trying to bite. Every time they bite, they'll inject more venom.
Why are they so aggressive, do you think? Because most venomous spiders, if you corner them, if you approach them with our body mass, they'll scuttle away. This thing will come at you. It'll meet you full on.
It's just a trait of that particular spider. They're a nomadic spider, so they build burrows in the ground of the forest, in the tropical forest. They'll wander around and they'll hunt for their prey. They're active hunters, so they have to actively go out there and find their food. Right. Lots of other spiders build webs in trees.
So you can see them,
yeah, ground coverings and things.
And we're increasingly finding, aren't we, that these foreign spiders, and not just spiders, all sorts of species of insect and God knows what, come over here concealed in people's luggage. They've got no idea they were there. You reckon yours was in a crate of bananas? Yeah. Brazilian bananas. Yeah. What have you got here? I mean, if I saw that, I would die on the spot.
These won't. These are pretty easy to see if they're in your bananas. Luckily, this is a Goliath bird-eating spider, the biggest species of spider in the world. She's not fully grown yet, so you can see she's going to get bigger. They get to about their leg span can get to the size of a dinner plate, and you can see she's not far off that now. These sort of spiders you wouldn't find in fruit. Obviously, it tends to be the smaller spiders that can get inside the fruit, can stir away quite easily.
Just go on, carry on.
As I say, we've got scorpions here as well. They're another prime candidate for getting away in bananas and things.
My dad found a scorpion once.
Oh, right.
In Romford.
Oh, there you go.
In the back garden.
What's in that? What's in that?
That inside that one there is actually Sheila. She's actually at the top. Let me pull.
After you.
There you go. She's at the top there.
Oh, God!
And she will quite easily...
What do you mean, what's the matter?
There you go. You don't want to hold her then?
Oh, no!
She'll come out
foul. I'm very sorry,
she
Sheila, but I think she is. Sorry.
There we go.
I'll pass if you don't
mind. Is that as big as the one that bit you?
A little bit smaller than that one.
Yeah, they're a lot smaller. They're probably about 1 3/4 inches, the Brazilian wandering spider.
OK, well, as you say, this guy had a narrow squeak, because it is the world's most poisonous spider. I mean, that's the first one that's been reported. Now, well, I have to update you on this. Apparently, this bloody thing's gone missing, because you took it in. And did you take it to the second hospital that you went to?
Yeah, I went to the first hospital with me, and then I took it to the second.
In a jar? You caught it and put it in a jar? You got a fly on you, Judy. Give it to the spider. Shut up. You honestly
you haven't.
You honestly did. You had a blue bottle on.
There was,
So anyway, went to the hospital, and confusion surrounds what's happened, but we hear that they've released it. Because they didn't think...
Joking.
Yeah.
No, they've released it. Yeah. And they've released it into the outside, thinking that it wouldn't survive very long in our climate, but it could come back into the hospital, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully with the weather we've got at the moment, it's going to be cold enough to probably finish it off. But I mean, if it got into an enclosed area where the temperature wouldn't drop, enough to kill it, then potentially it could last the summer.
And it could be a lady, and it could be pregnant. Why?
So the hospital let it out?
Yeah, of course. Why did you let it go? What are you doing? Well, we're going to stay on this story and see if we can get an explanation, because it's still shrouded in a bit of understandable vagueness, but it's gone missing.
So we need to go on a spider hunt.
I think we may need to. But your pub's been fumigated, so that's all right, yeah. OK, all right, guys, thank you very much indeed.
I'm very glad you're better. That hand still looks pretty nasty to me. Does it still ache?
No, not anymore. No, it was really swollen up. But
yeah, it was very, very lucky.
Very
close call.
Very good.
There's lots of other things that can go wrong with those sort of bites. So.
We will leave these...
Thank you for coming in. Cheers.
No problem at all.
We'll leave these possibly pregnant spiders and go to a very pregnant Jordan. Did you see this in the paper?